you build a legacy? Is it simply a matter of being a success? Surely, being the friend of presidents, or a member of a Hall of Fame, or even the cornerstone of essential boards or foundations will all gain you esteem, even admiration. Yet, to build a legacy requires something more. It requires touching the lives of others. It requires taking the good you've known and multiplying it by creating good for many. He had movie star good looks and the charm and presence to match. Still, it's unlikely that most who met Kenneth Boots Adams, the new warehouse clerk for Phillips 66, would suspect him as a soon-to-be corporate giant.
When my great-grandfather Keeler took him over to talk to Mr. Frank Phillips, and he asked my dad, what do you do best, Adams? And he said, well, let's see, football. Oh, basketball, I'm a better basketball player. He said, Adams, we don't have a basketball team. He said, see that tin warehouse over there? I'll put you in charge of that, and I'll pay you $125 a month. Do you want it or not? I got other things to do. He said, no, I'll take it. So that's where his first job was.
Boots never lost his passion for basketball. In fact, Boots helped establish the Phillips 66ers, an amateur basketball team that not only fielded Olympic teams and won national championships, but also helped introduce Phillips 66 and Bartlesville to the rest of the country.
He wanted to do things in Bartlesville to make it a better city and a better known city, and that's why they they had those basketball teams in the Industrial Basketball League, you know.
I think he felt a kindred spirit to basketball players and felt like this was something that if he started, that it would spread. And so this league was very important, I think, as a stepping stone to where the NBA is today.
When Boots wasn't on the basketball court, he was scrambling up the corporate ladder. In just 18 years, he managed to leave that tin warehouse and become the youngest president of any major American corporation.
He really worked hard and was a smart guy, as I said, and got the job done for Mr. Phillips. And I remember when I was at Culver, my dad called me and said, Mr. Phillips may be president of Phillips Oil Company. And I said, you got a raise, didn't you? And he said, oh yeah, I got a raise, all right. Yeah, I said, how much was it? He said, Bud, I wouldn't tell you. You'd be all over Indiana if I told you. He wouldn't tell me.
In the midst of rewriting corporate history and changing the face of basketball, Boots was also working on another legacy, the Adams family. Boots would eventually be the CEO of 7 children in all. Each one would not only share his movie star looks and ambition, but also his love for Bartlesville.
I learned a lot from him just as I was growing up, and he was a good daddy to be around, I'll tell you, and a strong one too.
When you look at the success of ConocoPhillips with its heritage from Phillips Petroleum Company, you can't help but look at Kenneth Boots Adams and see the beginning of a real spirit of calculated risk-taking, of ingenuity, of innovation, and present-day Bartlesville is obviously influenced by that.
I believe that Dad's love of the community was developed because of Frank's involvement in the community. And Dad looked at Frank Phillips and said, what is my demeanor as a head of a company? How do I need to act?
Well, Boots continued the legacy of community involvement that Frank Phillips had started. So we know that he learned quite a bit from him in this area.
The legacy of giving has become an Adams family trait, a way in which they are all known. From donations, to their leadership, to the investment of their time, the Adams have multiplied the good they have known for the good of many.
Beginning with Boots, there's a legacy that exists within the Adams family of giving back, of serving the community. That passed along to Bud, it passed along to Kenneth, and all the siblings. You can see it in present-day Bartlesville.
I think that we were raised in an environment of a giving nature, and it pleases us to be able to give back to the community, and I guess we encourage our employees and other people that we're involved with to consider doing the same thing.
Well, I think they taught me that there were, other people that weren't as well off as we were, and that you be nice to them, and you accept them as like yourself. And so I kind of learned that for way back there.
Each member of the Adams family has continued the legacy of giving. Their support can be found everywhere, from the Salvation Army and the Bartlesville Area History Museum to the Bartlesville Service League and historic Woolaroc, just to name a few. In addition, many wonderful organizations receive generous support from the K.S. Adams Foundation.
In the same way that Boots helped build the legacy of Phillips Petroleum, his children are helping to build a legacy in our community.
I think they have shown us that you don't necessarily have to be at the center of attention, that you can give and give gracefully and from the heart without being the star of the show. I mean, they seem to me to give that way, to give from their heart, but to give generously and gracefully. And I think that that's an example for all of us.
I am proud to be an Adams, and the legacy that was started by my father, but it is also a responsibility that I would hope to take seriously as we go forward in living here in Bartlesville.
Bartlesville has known giants of industry and professional pioneers. We've seen fortunes built and empires launched, and we are rich, but not simply because of our skill or business savvy. We are rich because while the rest of the world calls these pioneers brilliant, we can call them Uncle Frank or Boots. We're rich because those who helped put Bartlesville on the map happen to really love this place. They give back to a land and a people who helped give them so much. We are rich because Bartlesville has made a lasting impression on the Adams family, and they have made a lasting impression on the rest of the world. That's a legacy worth having.